The left is allergic to pragmatic, effective behavior. I literally saw a tweet just the other day with like 50K likes that was like, the ceasefire now crowd is failing the same lesson that the defund the police crowd failed. And I thought like, oh, okay, are we going to say we need like to lower our standards? Because I don't think like ceasefire now is that bad of a goal to argue for. And then it continued, we need to stop kowtowing to the establishment and bending over backwards. We need to stop watering down the message. The real message should be destroy Israel now. 50K likes or something. Like yeah, go out there and protest, destroy Israel, or like end Israel or whatever. You see, yeah, incredibly effective political messaging that's going to get you far. 50K likes, most of which I assume are from teenagers and people who couldn't order a pizza over the phone to save their life. So I don't know. I do hate it here, you know. I do hate it here. I think that in terms of like trying to get good people elected or trying to stop bad people from getting elected, the only people that are really worth your time are liberals. You can move like the left, the young left vote, and I'm not saying leftists don't vote at all or don't participate at all, but they need to get dragged along by the actual power group, and that's liberals. When it comes to like ideological activism, the left is a little bit more useful, but when it comes to anything even remotely tied to pragmatic, action. As someone who's an organizer in the DSA, I've honestly been debating whether or not to jump ship, as it seems to be going the way of the SDS. Yeah, Soaked on Left has made the argument that like if enough Vaushites join the DSA, it can be shifted over, but I genuinely wonder whether or not it's worth the effort, or if it'd be better to just let the DSA float off into irrelevance and wait and just like purely work with liberals. Because the DSA are worse than liberal. Like most leftist groups are worse than liberals ideologically. Because on the stuff that actually like on which there are fulcrum issues in the United States, most of them orient around like progressive issues or basic economic liberal, like, welfare shit, and liberals tend to be on the same side as the left on that. The only difference is that the left is less effective. Like, what answers are you going to get out of a DSA conference in terms of what's politically viable that you wouldn't get by talking to your average, like, Midwestern Democrat, In most cases, not much. The DSA can offer you maybe more in terms of like analysis or theory or whatever. But what does that mean when it comes to like actually going out there and doing or changing anything? In a lot of cases, nothing. And they're bad at protesting too, because their messaging is awful, no discipline or control. A lot of them are it's just worthless org, I know it varies from place to place. Not all DSA orgs are the same. So it's going to like, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but like, Jesus Christ, Yeah, you got to trust liberals for this stuff. I mean, it sucks that you have to, but like, blame lefties. Based on your debate, this is exactly what the Deep Fat Fried podcast wants for their political movements. They're like a perfect example of the rot that I'm describing. DSA is losing members year over year. It needs a shakeup. Well, if maybe the org should just die then. Do you have any idea how weird it is for me to advocate for the DSA in any capacity where multiple people have emailed me saying that asking whether or not a entrant to the DSA is a fan of me is a question? Like that they ask you when you're entering? Like, do you know how weird that feels? Like, what state must the DSA be in at any level? Also, I don't know if I can even advocate for the DSA on the basis that it's decentralized. I think that decentralized political organizations are a horrible fucking idea. They don't ever work. They literally never work. Like, the only time you guys ever see any messaging from the DSA is when one of their smaller chapters goes fucking AWOL and starts saying insane shit that gets, like, reboosted on Twitter, If you want a big, like, tent political org, that it can't be, like, a million small tents. It has to be one big tent. But it's not. It's a million small tents. It's incredibly dumb. Wait, is PV not decentralized? PV isn't an advocacy org. It does canvassing and phone banking work, which is a lot more directed. For the most part, PV just directs people and it works with like existing campaigns, so different goals. Also, PV isn't like decentralized the way the DSA is. There's not like 50 PV chapters that all have total autonomy and messaging. What org should people join that's not the DSA? I don't fucking know. Vaush, my intro to the DSA was a meeting concerning where we'd hold a community viewing of a communist documentary. Never went to another meeting again, Lamau. It's so fucking embarrassing, dude. It's so embarrassing. I've heard the SRA can be okay. The SRA isn't the same type of organization. It's all LARP, yeah. Why do you think the DSA is like this? Because the CIA smeared a chemical on every door handle in America that makes leftists politically ineffective. Very unfortunate. Crazy how effective leftists are in like every other country. Like, the United States had to go to multiple wars to try to stop the spread of communism, to like coup democratically elected socialists. Every other country, socialists actually get to be effective, but not here. No. The UK? Well, not in Europe either. Okay, not in the West then. Vaush, what do you suggest? What I said, work with liberals. To be fair, I think it's a wealth thing. I think there are a few issues. Poor lefties also suck at this. Well, it's not just a wealth thing. I don't know. It's like it's the community, it's social class. It's I don't know. It's the ghost of the USSR dragging us down. Whatever. The IWW is fine, Advark, because it's oriented towards a specific goal. What does the DSA even do? Like, real question. What does the DSA do? What is the goal of the DSA? Is it advocacy? Is it protesting? What do they do? Organizing? What does that mean? Organizing what? To what end? What does that mean? They basically do a bit of everything. Okay, so they do nothing. And serves as a de facto party. They're not a party, though. They help unionize places all the time. I don't think the DSA helps unionize workplaces. To what end? Like, the IWW has people whose job it is to do that. Like, there might be people in the DSA who do that, but what does the DSA do? Like, what does the organization do? You can't answer. And the reason for that is because it's decentralized. There is no DSA. The DSA doesn't exist. There's just a bunch of DSA chapters. They just share the name. There's no overarching. There's nothing else. There's nothing that unifies any of that base or power. It's worthless. They do a lot of good labor and electoral work. There are people in the DSA who do labor and electoral work, but the DSA in and of itself doesn't, that just means it contains people who do that work. What I'm saying here is that the DSA as an organization doesn't facilitate any forward progress, you know? And it basically just seems like a pit, or I guess more like 1,000 little pits in the ground that have been dug for people to crawl and die in. Vaush, I was loosely involved with the Young Democrats Club at my college. A lot of that club's membership were socialists and anarchists working alongside social democrats. They were also very politically effective and actively affected state and city politics around our school. In comparison, the socialist Marxist clubs were full of lunatics that never actually got anything done. Yeah, literally. Every time I see this happen, it's the same story over and over and over again. Yeah. Because the smart leftists realize if you want to change anything, you have to do so within like viable channels of power. And the only people left who are stupid enough to like go to the communist club are the people who want a book group, reading circle. Like, what are you doing? Why are you there? What's the point? You know. Not to mention, a lot of them aren't actually communists. They're just campists and reactionaries and so on. Edgy socialists. Yeah, that's true, but I think it's worth it as a meeting place for lefties as long as you can avoid getting bogged down in the drama. Why is there drama at all? And also, if you want a meeting place for lefty, if that's it, then it's just a glorified social club. Is there something to ensure quality between chapters? No. Or can just anyone open one? I'm not sure what the process is for opening a new chapter. I think that you need to be like, I think there's some voting process for like endorsing a new chapter to make it like an official DSA chapter, but I don't think there's like a real standard you're held to. College Democrat orgs across America are more communist than socialist or communist college. Yeah. Have you ever been to a socialist alternative meeting? No. I don't even know what that is. It's a lot of theory. I don't know.